Hey, housewives, come on in. You know the dirty dishes are still in the sink from yesterday and the laundry is still in the basket. Pop your AirPods in and make yourself at home here.
I'm Tracy.
I'm Tori.
And we are your Unlikely Housewives. Stepping out in faith and believing that God calls the unlikely, we are here to show you the appreciation and validation you deserve, lead you to authentic relationships, and release you of believing the cultural lies to restore your faith and wellness.
Pull up those high-waisted yoga pants, tighten your top knot, and reheat your coffee for the third time. Turn up the volume, and let's go.
Hey, housewives.
Hey, housewives. Welcome back.
Welcome back. This episode is a little different. We're recording remotely because of the 2025 Kansas City blizzard that hit us on the first week of January here. And so, while it's going to sound a little bit different, we're just going to keep it real with you guys. So if you hear kids in the background, that's totally legit. A dog throwing a bone, that's totally legit. Dog snoring.
That's what mine are doing right here.
Yep, my bells underneath my feet. So that's all going to be in this episode. But we were thinking when we were trying to come up with an idea, I thought, okay, well, let's just talk about the elephant in the room. Let's just talk about snow days, because certainly there's not something. I mean, when I was in Dallas with the girls, snow days were not a thing. It was ice days. And the entire city of Dallas shut down. So there was no getting out. And then and the girls were little, right? So they didn't want to be out anyways in the coldness. But then prior to kiddos, Andrew and I lived in Baltimore for the snow, what did they call it? Apocalypse? Snow apocalypse?
We had snowmageddon in Chicago.
Okay. So and it might have been snowmageddon that year too. So it was the one. I remember opening the sliding glass door and there being 3 feet of snow. And Andrew and I had only been in Baltimore for like maybe a couple of months. And I just looked at him and I'm like, what hell have you moved us to? Because I cannot.
It froze over.
Yes. Hell froze over. And I can't, I don't like being stuck. I don't like being stuck. I know that seems surprising.
I don't mind it. I love it. But my children don't like being stuck.
Well, but we were just talking about this before we start recording. We're talking about how snow days are a different feeling for you now, where you, I would say even 2-3 years ago, your kids were all over snow days and loved it. You loved snow days.
Oh, yeah.
But now your kiddos are like, can so-and-so come over? Can I go over to so-and-so? And you're like, no, the point of this is not to get on the roads.
Exactly. Well, and I think that's the difference, though. It depends on what type of snowstorm, right? Like this was not just, oh, we got 1 to 3 inches. How cute! Like, yes, let it snow, and then we can go, and it's 30 degrees. We can go play in the snow, and everybody meets up the next day and go sledding. That's not what it was. We just had a massive snowstorm that came through. It was ice for 12 hours, so the ice is underneath the snow. We were getting what, a inch an hour. We ended up with like 14 inches of snow, and just insanity. Just get dumped on, and you don't want to be in the roads on that, or out anyway. Some do, we do not. We're not the ones that want to risk it for the safety of others.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand.
Me, on the other hand. Okay, so I'll tell you my adventure from yesterday. So Ems is so tired. She's not feeling great. And so Jules, for she is right now in the season of like, can't stop, won't stop, like has to be doing something at all times. And that's typically not Jules. And so she's asking Andrew every, half hour to play in the snow with her. Da, da, da. And so finally in the afternoon, I was like, Andrew thought he was going to go over to his parents' house, and his parents' house is like 2 miles from us. And so he's still working. Remind you, grown adults typically still have jobs that they're trying to do during snow days and work remotely at home. I talked to 3 people yesterday who were working remotely at home that don't typically do. And so I told Jules, I was like, okay, daddy's working. I'll take you to Grandma Nan's. It'll be fine. And so I told Andrew, I was like, I'll take her. He's like, well, should I shovel the driveway a little bit? And I was like, probably it would be helpful. And so he shovels, and I was like, I'm going to take the Jeep. Okay. Cause I'm thinking the Jeep is lifted and the Jeep has some badass tires on it. Okay. I'm the only person in the world that can get a 4-wheel drive stuck in snow, apparently. So Andrew shovels the driveway out behind the Jeep. And so I'm in the third stall with the Jeep. I back up, but he didn't shovel the end of the driveway. And our driveway's on a slope. And so there's just this big lump that he just thought, well, yeah, you'll just power through and bump over it. No, not me. I hit it and got stuck. Literally, I was stuck. And bless Andrew, he was so patient. And he just looks at me like, only you. And I was like, hey, it's okay. What else do we have to do? It's totally fine.
Right. Other than it's like 5 degrees. Well, maybe yesterday was like still 10 degrees. Like today it's like 5 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to be like 0.
Right. And he's like, I have a 3 o'clock phone call. And I was like, go do your 3 o'clock phone call. I got this. This is fine. And he was so patient with me, but like Jules and I have got the shovels behind each tire trying to get it out. We're trying to use the doormat behind one of the wheels because one of the tires is stuck between the grass and the concrete. So it's just sliding right out. But then I had this genius idea. Meanwhile, probably during this 20 minutes, 4 or 5 cars go right past us in the street. And one of them's a minivan. And I have got the damn Jeep stuck. I was like, this is embarrassing.
Are legit, though. I don't think I ever had, when I had my minivan, I don't think I was ever stuck in my minivan. And I drove that in the city of Chicago I mean, the streets were terrible. Like, but I could get through. It was, I don't know how.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, okay. But then I had this genius idea. I was like, a couple of years ago, we got a water softener. And so, because we don't have any ice to put down on the driveway or anything like that. Salt. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. Salt. We don't have any salt to put down on the driveway. And so I was like, the salt pellets from the water softener. So we had just filled it up. And so I'm down in the basement filling up like pitchers of the salt from the water softener. And then I go upstairs, throw it on the driveway, and I'm throwing it in beneath the tires. Sure enough, I got that sucker out with salt pellets from the water softener. I was like,
well, way to be a, creative thinker.
I was like, and then so we're getting out, and again, 2 miles to Grandma's house. Jules is like regretting this decision because she's like, we're going to get stuck again. We're going to get stuck. And I was like, it's okay. What if we do? And she's like, then we'll be stuck. And I was like, well, what else are you got somewhere to be? You don't have anywhere to be. What are you going to, I could be at home. And I was like, hey, you're the one that wanted to get out and go to Grandma's house. I'm helping you. If we get stuck, it's not a big deal. I'll knock on a door and ask somebody for a snow shovel. It's okay. And she was just like, no, let's not do this.
Well, that's when, go back to my, good old days of growing up on the farm. Krista got stuck the first night. So the first day was just ice. And Parker got home at like 2:30, 3:00 maybe, and it had already started freezing rain, and the driveways and sidewalks were already slick. But the roads were
Yes.
fine because people were still traveling on them. Well, he's in a tiny Jeep, and he's in the third car garage, and he couldn't get up the driveway. He would just, and I'm like, oh
Yes.
boy, this is the joys of. I mean, really, I don't think he's one time maybe driven in snow, since he's been a driver. And so Chris goes out there to do it and finally gets some traction and was able to get it in. But I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, rugs, like what did we used to do when I would get stuck? Because I lived on the farm. I had it in my car, rugs, shovel, salt, like all the things, blanket, because living in the country, you didn't know when you were going to get stuck, where you were going to get stuck. Like,
Yeah.
that's just the way it was. So it's just funny to live here and feel unprepared for that because, and even when they were trying to gallivant around Saturday night still, they were hoping for the snow because it would help with traction, and it never came. So he drove my son's girlfriend home at like 8:00. Chris drove him at like 8 that night and was just like, he said, it was going like 25 miles an hour on the main road, and it wasn't terrible, but it's just the side roads and everything that were awful. So, we were a little unprepared ourselves, but Chris did get a snowblower for this round, and that was a saving grace.
Oh, there you go.
That helped us. He was out like 3 different times. Our driveway and sidewalk and everything is clear because the sun yesterday melted it.
Yes.
What was left. So
that's good.
At least better, but yeah,
so,
that was a doozy.
So Saturday, I ended up having to take Jules to softball conditioning, and it was around like 1:00. And so we got home around 2:30, but Andrew ended up taking E to a volleyball tournament, and they left the house at like 6:30, something ridiculous because it started so early. Well, she got done around 2:30, I think, so the race, but they were downtown. So the trip that took them 25 minutes to get to and from it, or 2 in the morning, on the way home, it took them 2.5 hours. Like it totally reminded me of our St. Louis
sounds
trip.
Like they missed all of the saga because there was like a 200-car pile up down there on Saturday night. Yeah.
Yes. So they got home, thankfully, at like 5:30. And so it was, but yeah, like multiple times Emsley had asked Andrew, she's like, can we just pull over and go to the hotel? It's fine. She's almost in tears.
She was scared.
She was scared. And again, it just reminded me so much of like St. Louis and our fun trip where you were driving your Lexus, and we were driving, and I'm like, got my arm out the window trying to get the snow off the windshield, and then applying essential oils to your neck, to all the
I know, we were
points.
freaking out.
It was
that was the worst
funny
storm I have ever driven in my life, was the one that you and I went on.
Yes, and it was I-70, so it was just 1,000 times worse.
Awful. And seeing all the cars in the ditches as we passed, and just I've never been so relieved when we arrived at that hotel that night.
Yes.
That was the event that there were supposed to be 500 at, and there were 11.
Yeah. Pretty sure all the people that showed up were just there, the ones on the panel.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
That was a scary, scary, scary time. Well, this time though, like, it's so funny. I mean, I don't know how you are. I mean, you guys have your guaranteed food, so you guys have like your freezer stock, like you have your but I started grocery shopping.
Not an ad, by the way.
Yeah, right. I started grocery shopping on Thursday and prepping for it because we had a party on Friday night and I say party, this is just my family, and we all have friends over, and then we had a couple over. So it's 14. When you're a family of 6 and everybody has somebody over, it's like freaking 14 people within no time. So I was planning for that meal, and then I was planning for being stuck in Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like that was like what I was expecting, right? Well, I had made my grocery list, and it was like chicken, ground beef, blah, 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 like all the things. Well, I didn't tally all the stuff I needed. So like I only got my 1 order of chicken and my 1 order of ground beef. Well, that was what Friday night's dinner was. So I had no meat for Saturday and Sunday. Now, the good news is I had tons of leftovers. So Saturday was like all leftovers from Friday.
Yes.
And then Sunday was, I had gotten frozen pizza. So Sunday night was pizza night. We'd watch Chiefs and just football. And so Sunday was pizza. And then last night I made broccoli cheddar soup. And so there was no meat required in that. And I had the ingredients for that. So I'm like, okay, I made it. I can get to the grocery store later today.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We stopped on Friday night and we had to go to 2 different gas stations because the first gas station was completely out of gas because everybody on Friday had gotten gas and
well, and then all their extra tanks like for their snowblowers, because that was the other thing we had too, was 2 tanks for our snowblowers.
Yeah. And then, but 2, I mean, and then going into grocery stores and there's no bread on the shelf whatsoever. And, you know, we're thinking like, oh my gosh, this like and again, it's not that bad, but I mean, you're looking at, okay, we were out and about on Saturday. So Sunday, Monday, today's Tuesday. So we can get out today and tomorrow, assuming.
Yeah, my husband said like he's already gone to work today and like it's all the side roads in the neighborhoods haven't been touched. And so that's the hard part is like we're in a message chat with my daughter's private school and they said that the bigger cities like your Overland Park, Olathe, maybe Shawnee Mission, they were like, okay, we want 48 hours from the snowstorm to get the streets clean before everything opens up. Because if you open up too soon, they can't get the streets clean. So it's like everything stayed closed Monday for sure. Everything's closed today. But some of the smaller areas, like the smaller that have less manpower, you know, Lexa and some of the other smallers, they wanted 72 hours from the snowstorm to get all the roads clean because it just didn't have enough manpower. So I don't know. And the problem that, you know, we're hearing is just the like dropping of the temperature sense. So like the clearing of the road and then what's left, it's freezing because we're below 0 basically, or we're going to be. So
well, because it melts, the sun melts it during the day and then it just freezes again and just makes another layer of ice. So well, we made the precedent on Sunday. So like we don't live in a subdivision where any of our kids' friends live. My one son has one friend like in the neighboring subdivision. Otherwise, there's no friends here. So we're not the whole like, oh, we can just gallivant over to next door neighbors, you know, rough it. No, we can't. Like it would be getting on 2 very main roads and then through a couple different subdivisions. And so we were like, we aren't going to be having our kids in a car. So neither one of us are driving and going to have our kids in a car. And so yesterday they were all like trying to, you know, figure out what they were going to do. And I'm like, hey, it is up to everybody else's responsibility. If they want to get in the car, drop their kid off and pick them up. It's their responsibility and saves me from having all the other kids, you know, like, oh, if you want a pickup, or I'm not going to have anybody else's kids in my car either. And then throw in the fact that my car needs to go into the shop. We were like, because I got hit on the last day of school and this is the week we're supposed to go in the shop. And I'm like, okay, we don't want to have that out and have something else happen to it, or, you know, so it's just fun. Just been fun. It's going to go to the shop anyway. So if something's going to happen to it, well, I mean, let it just happen, right? Just fix something else.
No, thank you. Like the sooner I can have that bad boy back, the better. Like, this is not what I want to be. I don't want to be in this weather driving a car I'm not used to.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, definitely not the rental kind of thing. Well, so housewives, I know this has been a really engaging conversation, but hopefully all these things that you can relate to. Some tips, or what are some things that you did when the kids were little for snow days that helped you a lot?
Oh, well,
or to entertain?
That was easy. Like, it was always, you know, the snow play, the hot chocolate, the, you know, making snow cones. I mean, my kids did do this yesterday still. So that is still a thing that my big kids even do. But we have a snow cone maker machine and all the snow cone flavors and everything. And so they do take that out and make actual snow cones with the snow. Yeah. So that was always fun, you know, and just
snow cream. If we do snow cream, that's the evaporated milk sweetness. And then you just get some of the snow, mix it in with it, and it's like an ice cream consistency. You can put sprinkles
Yeah.
and hot and
We
chocolate
used to
chips
do
in
that
it.
too when they were little. Mhm.
Yep. So that's a good little. Now, granted, both these two things are feeding our children sugar and then putting them back indoors, which is not a great idea. But if they get if they do a little bit, if it entertains them just for a little bit,
Yeah. Well, baking
then so
does
be it.
too. Baking,
Yeah.
puzzles, games. They're definitely at the age now though that the socialization is more important to them. So they're, playing video games or FaceTiming. I mean, they're just walking around on phone calls all day, like all of them. That's all they do now is like they're just talking to people, like, which
Oh
is, I
my gosh.
mean, it's good, but it's just different,
Right. It is.
Like we
We
now have this rule that like if you're on the main floor, you need to announce that you're on a call. Like, do not go walking on this main floor if you're on the phone with somebody and I don't know it.
Yes, because there's no telling what comes out of, you'll just hear in the
Yeah.
background.
Mhm.
So that the it's I don't know. I think this has been a snow day where I don't feel like I have to entertain them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and this is like, no, just go find a hill, go play or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's the hard part is we do have, I mean, they were out on our little hill back here and doing stuff yesterday, but it's 15 minutes at a time because it's so flipping cold. Like, so that's the difference. It's like when we
but
do
that's
have
so
that
funny.
warmness.
That's so funny because I yesterday and even this morning before recording this, when it was -3, feels like -3 outside. I took the pups for, I have to spell it because they're in the room, WALK. And I was out there for a good hour. And I don't know whether I'm just
Crazy girl.
trying to train myself to get used to it for when I go to the inauguration and just be like, okay, small birds, I can do this. I can be warm but it wasn't really when you're walking and moving around, it's not that bad. Now, Andrew, on the other hand, he handled 15 minutes and was like, my hands are cold and I can't feel my fingers. And I was like, all
Mhm.
righty. But
When Chris came in yesterday from snow blowing, so he'd been outside obviously probably an hour. Yesterday was his last time he did it, I guess. It was Sunday, he did like 3 times, then yesterday morning. And he opened the garage door and steam rolled off of him. It was the craziest thing. Like, and I'm like, is it because your stuff's cold and the house is warm? But like he takes stuff off and he's just sweating underneath.
oh yeah.
Like, so it was
Mhm.
like sweat, cold, walk into the warm house. Like it was
Warm-
it was the weirdest thing to watch him like steaming.
yeah, that
Yeah, no,
is.
I have definitely stayed inside. This has been my happy place.
Well, yes, you're cold when it's 65 degrees in my house. So
I know. Well, I
yes,
also
yes.
funny that I got a cold plunge tub for Christmas. So
Ooh, okay, is it portable? Can we bring that over here and do sauna and then the cold
well,
plunge?
it's
Can we?
portable, but it's not like I mean, it's only portable when you like and when you plan
Well,
for it. I mean, it's huge and like
okay.
yeah. And then when you fill it, it takes, 15 minutes to fill and, forever to drain. And
How do
so,
you fill it? How do you fill one of those?
well, we had it outside for the first couple days that we had it, and just our hose that's at the back by our pool.
Yeah.
So, but then it was like freezing and we're not getting in it when it's frozen. So we took it back because we don't want anything to happen to it.
Again,
Brought it in for the storm. We'll get it back
yes.
out. So, yeah.
Speaking of storms, I did take Skeleton down, my 12-foot
Aw.
Santa Claus. So, and
Mhm.
brought the reindeer in. So we
They
are
weren't injured
officially,
and they'll be right back up next year.
yes, they will. September 1, I'm making it happen.
Mhm.
But yeah, because that was something. But right now, what's crazy is because we did it in such a haste. We literally, again, 12-foot skeleton. He's in the garage, horizontal against the back of the garage. So I literally have to walk around him and over his like Santa body and to get to the car. And so
Over my dead body.
Ah, yes. And so it's just funny to see him, and I just love him. It's so much. But when everything's settled, I'll fill you housewives in on the skeleton drama of of my neighborhood,
Mm,
which
it's
is
just
fun.
fun. There's always drama.
There's always drama. There's always drama.
Oh, why
So
can't people just be happy, normal people? Everybody's got to complain about something.
they do. They do. Okay, so this episode's going to come out later in the month of January, but um when currently as this we're recording this episode, we are 1 week in with the Bible recap. Aren't you proud of
Yes.
me?
I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy to be
I
doing this with you.
I'm like, I got this. Now, granted, so far I've only listened to it and just
Yeah.
like doing that. But I'm hoping that once our schedules come back, that I'll have the time to sit and have the quietness of no one else around. Oh,
I can't wait for that day. I am so ready. I'm like, my mind needs to be mine alone again very
oh
soon.
yeah. Mhm. See, I feel like our roles are
This extended.
reserved.
Here's the thing.
Like,
I love this, and you know I've loved this. It is
yes,
I love it when it's the middle of January or the middle of February, not the 2.5 weeks after Christmas break, and this is extended. Like we're on 3 weeks of being home, of all of us together.
loving it,
Together.
happiness, all the
Mhm.
things. And
Yeah.
your kids are just, yes, ready to, they need something with their minds, and
They do.
all the
Yes.
things. They are just like, no, this is why you have a job. So,
Mhm.
which is school. School is a job.
Yes,
So
it
it
is.
is. All right. Well, I'm trying to think what else. So I'm sure we'll get another, or knock on wood, that we don't get another snow day, since we're having so many to start this off with January.
Yeah. Let's
But
hope.
we just wanted to remind you, housewives, by doing this, and just that, hey, it's okay. You can be happy that it's a snow day and you get to spend it at home with your kids, or you can be unhappy and it's okay.
I was
And
doing my little journal this morning, and I've always loved journaling, and I just haven't. And so this last year I did my year in the Bible, and it was just kind of like this normal routine. But now I'm able to, like, since I've done it before, kind of know what to expect. I'm like journaling now every day. And it was my like I'm just doing like what I'm grateful for, my yesterday's wins, today's goals, and then just kind of journaling. And today was just find joy in the small moments at home. And I'm like, okay, this is what I'm telling myself. So you can too, housewives.
yes, well, you could end the sentence with find joy in the small moments, period. It doesn't, you doesn't have to be at home. I mean, you can find
Well,
joy in the
no,
other things.
yes, but
I mean,
in our
just,
current situation, we're
current
at home.
situation, yes, your home has become a prison, but that's fine for all six of you.
Yes.
So yes, well,
we're down one. Chris is at work today, so just the 5 for
okay,
now. And I think
there you
I don't
go.
know. We'll see what today brings for later.
Yeah,
It sounds like
Oh.
people are getting out and about now. So woohoo!
yeah, and I'm hoping it'll be interesting to see, because we also, in the area that we live, our school is notorious for shutting down when it is too cold outside, which is an incredible thing. Like, I don't understand. I mean, they
Yeah.
reason it for, well, the buses and these kids standing outside and da, 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 da. I'm like, we'll tell the parents to take their kids to school thing, because that's so they don't have to stand outside. But that, I'll be curious to see if that is something that continues the rest of our week, and where it's not a snow day, it's a too cold to be at school day.
Yeah, I imagine tomorrow's a too cold to be a school day. Yeah, because it's colder than today too.
Bite your tongue.
And then Thursday we're supposed to have more snow. So
I got stuff to do. I got places to be, and I, And we were just chatting with one of our friends too, that she's in Dallas at the moment. She missed all the
Get out of
snowstorm.
there, because you're really going to get stuck.
Exactly. We were like, Dallas is supposed to get some heavy snow on Thursday, so get your butt out by Wednesday so you can get home. Otherwise,
I was reading all that too. I'm like, this whole, like, just, I mean, even Nashville is supposed to get hammered. And you're like, that's just not, I mean, they're not used to that either. So it'll be interesting.
Well, DC was hammered. Part of, like, when you saw the storm on the radar, it was crazy because it just went smack dab in the middle of the country and just kept moving.
Yeah.
moving,
And
moving.
it's so weird because I'm only 6 hours from my family in Illinois, and they didn't get a flake.
That's funny.
Yeah.
We were watching a football game, the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos
played.
It was gorgeous. There wasn't any snow over in Colorado, and we were just like, right, that's fitting. Okay. So, but
look at us. We're just a couple of old couple talking about the weather.
Yeah,
we've hit a whole new level.
We have. We're an all couple talking about the weather. Well, on that note,
maybe we sign off. No.
Yeah, I think we sign off just to save our reputations, that we're still somewhat cool.
We'll be
and somewhat,
We'll be back in studio talking about more motherhood, marriage, and all things.
Yeah, and all things.
Post
but
snow day.
Know that you're not alone, housewives. Know that however snow days make you feel, it's totally okay. And that, find joy in the little moments at home. And, just have what else are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like, that, honestly, that was the best feeling yesterday that I had. It was just like, well, who cares? What else am I going to do?
I do love that. I do love that.
So, like, so what if we get stuck? So what if we, I have to go knock on a stranger's door for a snow shovel? Like, it's okay. There are so many other things that could be, and we're not, so just like, what else? It's okay. No big deal. So anyways, housewives, until next time.
Next week.
Can we wait? If you're home, housewives, you definitely have to check out our merch, because we have some. Look at Tracy repping the coffee mug. It is so cute. It's got our first podcast cover, and then our current one, and then our sweatshirts. Those are great for this cold, snowy weather. And we've got the ones that say, hey, housewives, in bright, fun colors. And then the one that says hope, light, and humor. They are awesome. And they're the comfort color that one is the comfort color sweatshirt. And that is the coziest one I love, with the hope, light, and humor. So definitely check those out on the website, which is bit.ly/unlikelymerch. And go warm yourself up with some sweatshirts and a coffee mug, so that you can leave in the microwave for 3 days and find it again. I did that the other day.
Yep. Every day.
Every day. So anyways, until next time, housewives.
Bye.
Bye.
Whether we made you laugh or cry today, we pray you feel appreciated, bolder and braver than yesterday, stronger and more faithful for tomorrow, and living in who you were made to be today.
Join our online community on Facebook, link in the show notes, and be sure to review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or wherever you enjoy listening. Until next time, housewives, we give you permission to walk confidently, free, and to be intentional in your slippers or stilettos.